I'm an engineer at heart. The admin stuff and all of that stuff, it's like, I don't really want to have to deal with it. And I used to kind of really shy away from it. But there's a really fundamental problem that happens when you do that. The real challenge was to go from that 3 people to maybe the 10 people. And that's where we had found you. And that's one of the problems that we were having is this is getting to the point that I'm starting to get stressed out and pulled all over. And we're not doing a good job. And I know we're not doing a good job at business in general. As an engineer, you want to tinker. And I think everybody who's a technician, everybody who's a business owner is some type of technician at heart. So we want to be really focused on our craft. So I've tried those different books and things like that. And I've tried to do stuff myself. I've tried to implement systems. But the problem with me leading a system is I'll get in a meeting and we'll be in the meeting and I just start talking tech. And it goes off on a total tangent and it's an hour wasted and we got no outcomes. We have no resolutions.
Why was it important for you to change the thing that you engaged us for help with? Why did you need that change?
It's important for my livelihood, to be honest with you, our longevity of our company. Our company has grown from 5 years ago where it was me plus 1 part-time person to now we have 10 full-time people plus several part-time people. We did most of that growth during the past 2.5 years or so. You would think that I'd be more stable as a 1 or 2 people or something like that. But the truth is you're not really more stable. I don't have that. I can't rely on that outcome because I don't have as much of a solid of a product. So we really, really wanted to develop that. I wanted to have a vision of the things that I want to build and things I want to make and the business I want to have. And I've been working towards that sort of vision, but again, unable to grab onto that second branch to move forward. So it was really about be able to be sustainable in the long run. I like the idea of concept of systems and things like that, but I kind of think to me, it seemed like, talk is cheap, paperwork is cheap and things like and such. One of the first things that you did is implement some systems, start to document a few things. So we started off with some various systems, just documenting a few basic things. But what that did is it gave us a set of rules, if you will. It gave us, I like to sort of think of them almost like the 3 Ps, like procedures, protocols, and programs. As things came up in the future, we had problems with, as we had these various growing pains and dealing with clients and things like that. As we grow, we're having these bigger pains. Now we have some procedures and some ways of handling those. Like, how do we go about creating things like proper estimates and proper statements of work and conditions of agreement and all of these kinds of things. So that was a big one, is implementing those types of systems. It wasn't just the systems on their own, because the systems some things I can kind of find. I can probably do some Google or whatever and find those. But it was about tailoring those things to what works for us, understanding how our team works. So those systems that we implemented, they're ones that allow us to do things like review our employees and regular review meetings every quarterly conversations, weekly stand-up meetings, and continuing that culture so that we can grow as a really, really sort of cohesive unit, if you will. We migrated a whole bunch of tasks from our old software systems. We established things like, how does a team reach out for help when somebody needs help? Right? What is the system for that? Now we do is our team forms these informal little collectives, little groups, and people jump on calls, and it's almost like an open door policy. And that's something we never had before. But that was something that's part of a procedure that we ended up developing just from calendars, adding calendars and configuring that aspect of our business. I never even had a Calendly. I hate to say it, but I didn't even have a Calendly account. I honestly don't know how I even schedule calendars because now that's the only way people communicate with me with predefined times. And that's another thing, job descriptions, all kinds of things like that. So it's kind of not just the software. It was really a whole business organization, I would say.
Where are you today? How have you progressed from when we started to what you're doing now?
We started with just under 5 people, mostly part-time. And now we have 10 full-time, I think it is, people plus some part-time. That was the biggest thing, is the growth. But the growth can't happen without increasing sales and revenue and things like that. Most of that revenue expansion came from the consulting side of our business. And that could only happen because we could start to take on bigger clients. So we started off like a little sole developer where I make something for some company or something like that. And we ended up with, now we have an actual consulting firm. And based on the types of projects we do, we're in the top echelon of those tiers across North America for our industry. So I'm pretty pleased with where we are at now. And going forward, we're taking those same principles, the same things that you and your team has helped us with, and we're trying to expand that. I think the biggest thing people have to say is, what is it? Where are you now? What is your change? What change have you done? If you don't do anything, that change is going to be the same rate, right? It's not going up. It's not going down. In fact, it's naturally going to go down unless you do something to maintain it. So start to think that way and start to think about long term. You really treat it like it's a personal trainer, as a personal training service for your business. It's not really a hard process. It's not like just I'm going to have to do things I don't like doing, because as the founder of the company, I want those things to happen. I get the big picture. There may be, depending on what the existing company culture is, I could see there being maybe some challenges that way. But once the team, whoever your employees are, once they understand the big picture and the company is growing, we managed to give out, 10 to 15% raises across the board to everybody. And we've done that twice now in the past relatively short period, past 2 years.